So welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to discuss about this keyword. So basically what is this and how it is very different from other languages, the way this behaves in JavaScript. So basically this value depends upon the execution context, means where it has been executed. Okay, and depending on that, means if whether it was executed on the global context or inside the function or inside an object. Okay, the value of this differs. So coming to the first point, which is the global context. When uh, you are declaring a global context in the this is equals to window object on the browser. Okay, and as you can see here, true. Okay, and on node.js it would be equal to global this, because we of course we don't have a window object in the node.js environment, and but we do have a global this here also in browser environment. Yes, uh, so basically whatever variable means you are pushing. Okay, uh, you might also with access with as you can see it is returning here. Okay, on so coming to the function, suppose I declare the function uh, foo, which returns this. Okay, and what would it return? Yes, it would return a window object. Yes, as you can see there is a window object, because we are not passing any window, means any this value to the function, and so we will later on see. Okay, so there is one more keyword, means one more thing. Whenever you are using use streak, it would not be returning a window object, because it is not binded to any of, this value. So it does not means whenever you are using streak use streak in the function and you are calling in the global context, it is not identifying the this value. Okay, but if you are removing this and just, so it will whenever it does not get the this value, it will automatically grab the window as a this. Okay, so same goes for the arrow function. Okay, and yes, so remember, whenever you are using use trick in the global context, it would not be throwing the same this value. Okay, and for, so let's say how it behaves in the class. So class person, the constructor, my bad. So in class, the this is here. The this is of the this object itself. Okay. Any any method means declared within this class would be occupied in this value, uh, leaving the static method. Okay. So let's say return this dot name and then this dot occupation. Okay. And suppose sorry, static method, that is the static method. Okay. And we are initializing it. Okay. And now as you can see, it is giving the object. Okay. And what if I called, and you can see it is returning a value, it's returning the cop. And what if I call person uncaught? Okay, is not a function because this static we cannot call it in the initialization. Okay, it's in the class method, it's not in the initialization method, and that's all the different method. Sorry, different topic for now. uh, so here this is like a object which behaves like object. Okay, the initialization itself, let's say log, and you can see here it's a full, the class is become the object. Okay, so coming to the and earlier we saw that in function, let's take a different example, add, I'm sorry, uh, so we know as whenever calling this function would return an because this we have not defined any in way b. So on the window level is equal to 1. Oops. Let me pass the value. Okay, and for now let's see, just adding a 3, it gives you 10 because this is now. So what if I don't want to point this towards a global object, okay, like window or something else? So in JavaScript there is a call apply and bind method in which you can pass this value. I have explained it earlier. So right now I'm going to only pass an object o a equals to 2, b equals to 2, and apply o as 0, 3 and 4. What would be the output of this? Oh, sorry. I was going to spend the call first, and as you can see, there is 11, and same goes for the, because 2 plus 2 4, and you can do the math. Okay, so whenever you are doing apply, you have to pass with the array, and as you can see the result is the same. And with the bind, suppose const p equals to add bind o, and just p with 3 and 4, you can see 11. Okay, what happen if I just overwrite the value, let p, let q equal to p bind o, and sorry, not o, with a new value like 5, b equals to 5. So q should execute a new value, okay, but it is not the case. As you can see here, should be removing this one, and you can see the 11. And so you might be thinking how it is, but whenever you are using a bind, you can only pass one time an object, okay, then it is not overridden. So the this value remains same. Okay, yeah, I hope it's clear. So on the object level, say how can in the object, um, how the this behaves. So for object one, name Jim Gordon. Okay, and that is called foo or function. And so how does this behave? So it would return this Jim Gordon and this as a whole object. Okay, and as you can see here, okay. And what if I use the arrow function? So with the arrow function, this works very different inside that it is inside the object or not, because okay, I need to refresh this. Okay, and it is pointing towards the window object. Okay, and so value of this is not binded in the arrow functions whenever you are using it as a method. So for method it is not advisable to use arrow function in short. Okay, whenever you are using a arrow function inside for a method inside an object, it will not work the way you think. Okay, and what's happened to the function whenever you are using it with string? Okay, so it is now binded to the object, so it would return, yes, you can see. So it is now binded to an object, so new string, there is a value of this defined. Okay, so for uh, there is another uh, case when you are using it for the constructor function, and I thought you very well know this. Okay, scope. So whenever you are using it for the constructor function, it is returning this where represent this whole object, similar to the class. So let me show you example. So yes, and you can see here, and you can access it. So this constructor function inside this behaves as a object, this whole object. Okay, this whole object. And one more case where you are attaching a event listener on element, how does it behave. So for that, I'm creating an example test. Let's say id it should be test. Okay, um so document dot get element by the so test. Okay, and I'm attaching event listener, which would be on click function e. This, and so basically this here will be uh, directly equivalent to the element on which it was fired. Okay, and as you can see, it's true. Current target. If you want to see this, let's try any style on this side. Okay, and the color has been changed. So whenever you are attaching even listener, the, this here is this element. Okay, behave like an element. And what about the inline? This, suppose you have an inline this on click alert, who might be I'm using my console log. Or was that tag name or something? Um, and it is showing as a button. Okay, Yes. So you have got that. This is yeah, represents a element. Okay, this whole element. And what if I try to invoke an on click? Sorry. So and it is returning this object. And what if I this? Okay, that's interesting. And what is what if I so it is returning this event. Okay, and what if I just pass an arrow function, make it an arrow function? What it would be? I want to see that. Yes. So we can see that this is not bind due to the arrow function. It is bind to the global property. Yes. So it's a window object indirectly. So for wrapping up this session, and we came to conclusion that this inside a global context is like a window object or a global this, and whenever it from the within a function in the global context, it will also be equivalent to window object. And from whenever you are passing in this object while you are using a call, apply and bind, then you are defining the basically you are defining the value of the this. And in class, it's a constructor function, means it is representing the whole object as a class. Okay, and in the constructor function, of course, it's the whole function as an object. And in event listener, it's like an element, but you have to pass the function keyword, anonymous function, not using a lambda, means sorry, arrow function. Okay, and coming to the point of the arrow function, in arrow function, it will eventually point towards the window object, as you know. whether it is inside the object or it is in the global scope. It is always going to point towards the global scope because it is not pointed to the object. Okay, so for thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you have good grasp of this.